In the quiet corners of this Florida town, stories never truly die. Just a short time earlier, I crossed into Florida on US Highway 19, entering into Jefferson County. It wasn't long before I passed by this abandoned Greyhound dog racing track. Just a crumbling reminder of what used to be. Even its motel next door couldn't outrun time. Today, we will be exploring Monticello, which is the seat of Jefferson County. And a fun fact, this is the only county in Florida that borders both Georgia and the Gulf of Mexico. Or should I say, the Gulf of America. Today, I'm going to walk these streets, search for amazing places, spooky stories, and eventually arrive at the final resting place of this town's own amazing military hero.
I'm Danny, and welcome to my channel, Danovator, where my experiences become your adventure. If you like the unique and unusual, then you came to the right place. Remember to please subscribe, and please hit that bell so you'll be notified when I release my next adventure.
Monticello? Well, we pronounce it Monticello around here. Was officially incorporated in 1859 and named in honor of President Thomas Jefferson's Virginia estate. He was the third U.S. president and author of the Declaration of Independence. His statue should fill at home because this courthouse, which was built in 1909, was modeled after his own home, making this small southern town a tribute to his legacy. West of the courthouse is the Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank its director, Amy, for briefing me on this unique town. The Chamber was once Jefferson County's first Catholic church, which was built in 1917. This is where I obtained my walking tour map. Tucked behind the Chamber of Commerce is the 1909 Jefferson County Jail. The sheriff's family once lived downstairs, with prisoners held above. It later became a museum, though now it sits silent once more. Over the years, visitors have claimed to hear unexplained knocks and catch glimpses of shadowy figures, fitting for a town often called one of the most haunted in Florida. Just across from the Chamber of Commerce on Washington Street is the historical Jefferson County High School. Built in 1852, it was the first brick school building constructed in Florida. I continue west on Washington Street and I'm greeted by this sign, Avera Clarke House. This home was built in 1890 by Thomas Clarke, who was a state legislator. Next to the Clarke House is the town's crown jewel, the Daffodale Home, which was built in 1897. It is considered as the most haunted home in Monticello. Guests have reported seeing objects move, seeing strange apparitions, and hearing the sounds of the rustle of unseen silk dresses. Proof, perhaps, that some residents never checked out.
Well, let's see if we can check out the Jefferson Art Gallery.
It appears to be open. Right away, I'm greeted by a charming, locally illustrated Snow White book, but with a rabbit twist. The gallery's curator, Susan, showed me their prized possession. And other prized works of art around the gallery are these wooden sculptures, stained glass art, and of course, plenty of the framed variety as well. They even have mini replicas of the Jefferson County Courthouse and the Monticello Opera House. Look at that, my very own drone's eye view minus the drone. Even the art gallery has ghosts, thankfully, the friendly kind.
Well, I'm glad there's a lot of shade on these sidewalks, because it is a hot day today.
Off of Palmer Mill Road sits the elegant Denham Inn, built in 1872 as the Italianate-style mansion of cotton merchant John Denham Sr. He only lived here 2 years before passing away, but according to the current owner, Mr. Denham never really left. Late at night, the sound of the rocking chair in the cupola could sometimes be heard, and some people have even witnessed seeing a mysterious apparition. It seems that John Denham is still proudly watching over his greatest creation, unwilling to leave the home he loved. And across from the Denham House is the back of the old Jefferson County High School. As I make my way back to the Courthouse Circle, I pass by the Gothic-styled First Methodist Church. Built in 1888, its stained glass windows were imported from Joliola, England. Just past the First Baptist Church, I find myself at the front steps of the Monticello Opera House. Built in 1890 by local businessman John Perkins, this grand brick theater was once the cultural heartbeat of this town, hosting traveling performers, concerts, and lavish balls during Monticello's cotton boom era. Though I couldn't slip inside today, even from the street, you can feel its presence. Some say that presence is more literal than figurative. Faint music has reportedly drifted from the empty balcony late at night, and several visitors have claimed to have seen a lady in Victoria dress pacing the upper gallery. Perhaps some performers never took their final bow. Jefferson County has no traditional traffic lights, just the occasional flashing yellow. Another fact is that the Courthouse's roundabout became Florida's very first in 1996. Heading east along Washington Street, actually better known as US 90, I decided to venture on a lengthy hike to my next destination. I finally reached this architectural marvel, which was built in 1890. It belonged to J.H. Girardeau. He was a horticulturist who worked with pears and pecans, and was Jefferson County's first game warden. I knocked to see if anyone was home. No answer. And no ghostly figures peering out of those windows. The home is laced with intricate gingerbread trim and includes a matching building by the greenhouse. What appears to be the rear of the house is actually the front. I found a couple of statues peeking out of the bushes. As I leave the Girardeau home and make my way back towards town, I pass through the Avenue of Oaks. This shaded path was planted by Girardeau in the late 1800s and today creates this peaceful, almost timeless walk back into Monticello.
So make sure you stay to the end, because I'm going to visit a cemetery that has a soldier from this area that has an amazing story. You don't want to miss it.
Just past the First Presbyterian Church, which was built in 1867, is where I parked my car.
You gotta stay hydrated.
I am making my way through the historical business district. On Washington, I walk towards the courthouse. Here's the Social restaurant. And on Jefferson, which is also US 19, the road we entered Monticello on earlier, is what I've heard is probably the best restaurant in town. I was being greeted by this restaurant's famous owner. This is Jackie's Brickhouse. Its owner, Jackie Watson, is more than a restaurateur. She's the founder of W Entertainment, a producer, director, and actress whose work has been featured on major networks. Her walls here tell the story, lined with photos from a remarkable career. Let's check out the historical business district. North of the courthouse on Jefferson Street is the Wirick Simmons home. It was built in the early 1830s by Methodist circuit rider Adam Wirick. It is one of the oldest homes on our tour. This Greek revival beauty, later owned by the Simmons family, now serves as a museum for Jefferson County history. And for a spooky twist, visitors sometimes report seeing two ghostly women, one in pink and one in yellow, in the upstairs windows. History with a hint of mystery. A block from the Wirick Simmons house is the Christ Episcopal Church. It was built in 1885. This is an amazing architectural work of art. Northeast of the church on Madison Street is the Old City Cemetery. This cemetery was established in 1827, the same year Monticello was founded. I couldn't find any ghosts roaming around, but I did find these amazing coffin-shaped graves. I leave the Old City Cemetery and walk just a few steps to Roseland. It is here where Platoon Sergeant Ernest Ivy Boots Thomas Jr. is laid to rest. He was one of 6 Marines to first raise the American flag atop Mount Suribachi at Iwo Jima. Everyone remembers this photo. It was the second raising of the flag and was basically a photo op. But again, always remember, Boots was one of the first. Just days after this historic moment, he was killed in action. His body was eventually returned back home, and today he rests alongside his mother Martha and his father Ernest Sr. Down West Jefferson, you can find this memorial park named in his honor.
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed my Monticello, Florida adventure. If you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. And always remember, your adventure awaits with the Dannovator. Now it's time for me to go back into town, get in my car, and go cool off in the air conditioner on the way home. I'll see y'all the next time.